Hey everybody, welcome to another video on the Stoltz Fit YouTube channel. Jordan here. Today we're going to just kind of have a little discussion type video. Training wise, I'm in a deload week, kind of more of an intuitive deload. So no training footage today. Gonna not talk about home gym stuff. I'm gonna talk to you today about my goals at 30 years old, and hopefully some of these resonate with you. And also this will explain what the channel is gonna look like moving forward. So I think this channel is going to be a little bit different than a lot of like fitness influencers out there, mainly in the fact that I am 30 years old and have been doing this for a long time and have no desire to compete in anything. I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm not a powerlifter, not a strongman, CrossFitter, anything like that. Pretty much just training for sheer enjoyment, looking better, feeling better, and the things I'm going to talk about in today's video, which is what I'm calling Project Prime. They say the best decade of your life is your 30s. I'm going to try to see if that's true and make this my prime. So I'm going to talk about some different aspects of that today and talk about my goals at 30 years old. And maybe you can relate to some of these, and this will kind of show you what's going to happen moving forward with the channel, what kind of videos I'll do. So there's 5 different aspects. Number 1 is health and longevity. I put that first because it is the most important. I have 3 boys. They're 3-year-old and the twins are only 4 months old right now. So obviously I want to be around a long time. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to, shorten lifespan at all. Drastic bulks, drastic cuts, not really worth it to me at this point. What I want to do is focus on health and the things that really matter for living a long, healthy life. This is something that I think is pretty easy for those who are 16, 17, 18, even in the 20s to ignore. Until you have a family, it doesn't really put it in perspective, in my opinion, on how important it is just to be around and to be present and to be able to actually participate in family things. So a long, healthy life is really goal number 1. And it's so much easier to get ahead of health, focus on it early, than it is to focus on it too late. Once you already have a health issue come up, it's a lot harder journey, which I see all the time with people in their 40s and 50s. It's a hard struggle to come back from. So I'm trying to get ahead of it, improve health and longevity now, and hopefully experience fewer problems down the road. So the things I'm going to do about that, I'll talk about those in a future video, but focus on micronutrients, not just macros. We're going to focus on some cardio, right? Keeping the ticker healthy, that's important as well. Really just living an active lifestyle. So getting steps per day, having an active hobby, playing a sport, those kind of things are going to be implemented in my fitness routine and in this channel, because that is a big key to longevity in my opinion. And then lastly, can't let body fat get too high. Like I said, I'm not competing. I'm not going to be shredded all the time, super lean, but I also don't want to get super big and super bulky and over fat. I am going to, obviously run surpluses to gain muscle and everything, but we want to limit the amount of fat gain and stay relatively lean to keep ourselves healthy. The second aspect is going to be functional strength. As a former strength coach, this just like grinds my gears when I hear people talk about functional strength and use that term, but it does perfectly fit with what I want for my 30s and for Project Prime. I work on a farm as my second job to a nutrition coach. So nutrition coach is number 1, and then I usually go help on my family's farm. So farming involves a lot of moving around, moving objects, lifting heavy things. I need to have strength and conditioning that's functional for that job, right? Also being a dad, those boys are going to be stronger than me before I know it. I got to be able to hang, right? So I need to be able to be strong, be mobile, be conditioned enough to play with them. So the things that I'm going to be focusing on with that, 2 different aspects. For the dad stuff, it's going to be being well conditioned so I don't get winded just playing soccer in the front yard or something. And then we're also going to be, of course, able to get into different positions, like lift a kid over your head, throw somebody in the pool, whatever I need to do, right? So we want to be able to move and move well and not get tired doing it as a father. And then in the farm aspect, that's like, the epitome of like strongman training. That's pretty much what it needs, right? I need to be able to lift awkward objects, lift heavy objects. I think work capacity is very functional for me because I can't be tired. If I'm working on something with a wrench, can't have my arms burn out. Can't be really tired, like having to move a bunch of stuff or shovel grain all day or something. I need to have a lot of conditioning work capacity in that aspect. So that's a big focus of mine. Functional strength, of course, will vary depending on what you are trying to get function for. If it's just working in an office on a computer, your functional strength might look a lot different than mine. Third thing is going to be to stay injury free. This can be a short one. Obviously, getting hurt is what's going to throw off your progress more than anything. It's going to keep you from training. It's going to keep you from staying mobile, staying strong. And those things are really important now that I'm in my 30s, especially. I'm more conscious of it now. I haven't really ever gotten seriously hurt training, but I do notice at 30, even, things take a little bit longer to recover. So recoverability is on the top of my mind, super important thing to focus on. Really, what I'm going to do for injury prevention is just implement mobility work, full range of motion and exercises. So good range of motion and no ego lifting. So we don't want to just chase PRs for the sake of PRs. They're going to be intelligent PRs that we actually deserve and can reach, right? No ego lifting that'll prevent some stupid Snap City stuff. Number 4 is going to be get big and strong. This is kind of a personal goal. It's always the dream, right? Chasing being big and strong. I want my 30s to be the biggest and strongest as ever. So we're going to focus mainly on hypertrophy training for the majority of this decade. And training and diet should all kind of lead towards that goal, right? You can get big and strong doing a lot of different stuff, but I think big and strong is going to help me stay injury free. It's going to be functional for me in my job and as a father. And I think overall it is going to help longevity through weight training as long as I stay relatively lean. Big and strong is the goal. Hypertrophy training is the action to get to that goal. Diet needs to be in a surplus a lot of the time to support that muscle gain. We're going to try to do it without getting too fat for health and longevity reasons. But big and strong is the underlying goal here, right? Got to become a beast in the 30s. I will implement strongman work as well because that is a lot of the tools I have around the farm for training, as you saw on my home gym tour. That I think is a great tool for becoming big and strong, especially the strong aspect. Hypertrophy training takes care of the big. That leads me into my next point, the 5th and final goal of Project Prime, which is enjoyment. I'd rather be slightly less optimal and reach 90% of my goal and enjoy that process rather than be 100% optimal, reach 100% of my goal, but not enjoy that process. Enjoyment kind of trumps everything for me because I'm not a competitor, right? If I was like wanting to get as strong as possible for a meet, I would do what I had to do. If I wanted to compete on a bodybuilding stage, I would do whatever I had to do in training and diet to get to that point. For me, just kind of like an average guy that has a job and 3 kids and is in his 30s, I want to get to those goals, but in an enjoyable way. So I enjoy some machines more than free weight exercises. If I want to do a machine row rather than a barbell row, I'll probably implement that more in my training as a movement just out of sheer enjoyment and what I feel the muscle best with. That is going to be something I talk about a lot as you see in my training vlogs because it's not always about perfectly optimal. Sometimes it's just about what you enjoy and feel best. I'm also going to implement strongman training like I just talked about. That's not optimal for being big necessarily, and it's probably not optimal for longevity and staying injury free, but that is something that I enjoy doing. So I'm going to implement a lot of that for conditioning and strength training in my training, especially in the summer. And also I'm getting into golf, of course, because I'm a dad, I'm in my 30s. I like golfing. I'm going to be implementing some golf training into my own training, whether it's specific movements in the gym that can help me with that, or just practicing the game of golf more and implementing my training around that. That is going to be another focus of mine. So we're kind of juggling a few things, but it's just for enjoyment, not for optimality. And there you go. That's essentially Project Prime and my goals at 30 years old. Like I said, it's going to look a lot different than someone in the fitness space who's trying to compete on a stage, compete on a platform. Hopefully, if you're watching this video, you're in a similar boat, and the people that do shoot for those things inspires you, but doesn't really speak to you as goals you can actually do and implement and achieve. Hopefully this is kind of like just a real guy channel, right? Where we can just kind of talk about what I'm doing to achieve these goals, how I'm approaching it, making progress, making changes, learning on the way. And if you want to join me, subscribe to the channel. More videos to come. I'm going to include some lifting videos, which is just going to be raw workout footage of how I'm approaching training, and also some nutrition things, recipes, anything you can think of, daily vlogs. It'll have it all. Thank you for watching this one. I'm excited for this next decade and what it's going to bring and the goals I can achieve during it. just because I'm not pushing for a competition doesn't mean I'm going soft by any means. We're going to push this hard. We're going to achieve some goals, and we're going to enjoy the whole process, which I think is the most important thing. Thank you for watching. Talk to you later.